Alright, hey, what's up you guys? I wanted to make this all one video, but I kind of have a motivation to do this part of the video right now, and I don't have the other part ready yet. So I'm just gonna do this part of it for right now, and then we'll see how we go from there. And I'm sorry, my dogs are kind of being weird and they don't want to sit on here with me, so I might be a little distracted, but I'm gonna try not to be while I'm talking about this. So topic is demons and angels. So it's definitely something that a lot of skeptics think it's just in your head, so I'm gonna talk about my experiences in this video, and then the other video is going to be about like what the Catholic Church teaches about angels and demons and that sort of thing. So I guess I'll start with my first kind of experience. This experience lasted a year. It's something that I have not really talked about. I talked about it once to, I was on a mission trip, and I was like, hey, can I do a witness talk? Because I was like, it's time for me to start talking about this. So it goes like this. When I was young, I was like 6 or 7, don't really remember. I couldn't sleep and stuff, you know, tossing and turning and stuff like that, and I sat up in bed because I kind of felt like something was in my room and I wasn't sure what it was, and I was getting hot, so I sat up, and there was this little light kind of thing, and if you've ever played The Sims, you know there are the plumb blobs that hover over the sim that you're controlling. And okay, my dog wants to sit on my lap now. So it was kind of like that. It was a little bit different, and instead of being green, it was white. So I was curious about it. I was 6 or 7 years old, and I wanted to know what it was. So I kind of reached out my hand to touch it, and it was this big, probably about this big. And it started slowly moving towards me when I got up to look at it. And I'm not really sure what made me reach out my hand. I just felt a pull. I was, in the back of my head, I was probably going, this doesn't seem right, but I'm really curious about what this is. And so, as it was getting closer, right before it touched my hand, it kind of stopped. And during this whole time, it was kind of slowly rotating around. It was slowly rotating around, just ever so slowly, but it stopped and kind of shuddered a little bit. And then I heard something kind of come up to my shoulder, and a voice in my ear said, "Don't touch that. That's the devil trying to make you evil." So, 6-year-old, 7-year-old me was really freaked out by that, as one would be at 6 or 7, or anyone, because you don't think of that. And it wasn't, when you sometimes hear your voice being called and it's not really being called? It was more real than that. I could practically feel her breath on my ear, and it was the prettiest sound I've ever heard. But anyway, sorry, back to what's going on within the story. So I was like, oh no, and I still have my like hand reaching out like, oh, let me touch this thing. And she said, lay down on your side, close your hands, close your eyes, close your mouth, because that's all the places that it can get in. If it absorbs into your skin, you'll start turning evil. So I did, and then I like could feel her presence like going away, and like when it was like half away, I was like, because I was like speechless. I was so like just shocked, and I was like, wait, who are you? In my head. I didn't say it out loud. And she said, I'm your guardian angel, and then was gone. So that was not a great experience, but that wasn't the only time. Like, I would have thought it was just a dream, but I was still kind of curious because, you know, I'm a child at this point. I mean, I still kind of am, but I was definitely a very young child, and I was curious, so I kind of like opened my eyes, and the room was filled with these lights that were all like slowly making their way towards me. So like I freaked out, and I didn't know what to do. Like close my eyes and then open them, like hoping they'd go away. And I think I did that a few times. And I went into my parents' bedroom, like, oh, they won't follow me. Like my parents will protect me, and they did. So mostly when I think of saying this or telling this to people, I am like, oh, they'll just think, oh, she's lying, it's just a dream. So I haven't, that's one of the reasons why I haven't told anyone. Also, it's really far out there. However, this was a nightly occurrence, no matter where I was. I could be at home, I could be at one of my other siblings' houses, because at that point, like, four of my siblings had moved out, and 3 of my siblings had moved out, and they were all like living in the same house together, I think, at that point. So if I like had gone over there, or if I was camping, if I was staying in the basement, first floor, my room, which was on the 2nd floor, it didn't matter where I was. The lights were there. And so after about a year of this happening, I was woken up one night after like not being able to fall asleep, and well, like I had fallen asleep and after like not being able to, and I woke up in the middle of the night. It was like 1 a.m. and I only know that because like I went downstairs to go get a cup of water, so I was like definitely not sleeping. And it was like this giant one, like bigger than me right now, and I'm, well, okay, that might be an exaggeration, but it was like 3 or 4 feet like tall. Like it was huge, and it was just hanging over my feet at like 7 or 8 years old, and that was pretty terrifying. I don't know how to describe it, because you're like, oh, it's like a pretty light, but it is not fun when it's something that is happening all of the time and you believe it to be a demon, the devil. So that's tough. And so I wanted to touch it so bad. Like, I was so tired of this. It was a yearly, like, it was a daily thing for a year. Like, I was just so ready to just succumb to it, because, I mean, I was terrified of being in the dark. Like, if I was just in the dark, it would like start to show up in the very like peripheral, like it, and if people were in the room with me, like that didn't change. Like it didn't change if I was with someone. So, but if I was going to go to sleep, they popped up right away, like, and sometimes within a foot of me. So that was terrifying. Like, it was hanging over my bed, and I could just feel something closing around me. After that, it just disappeared. Just gone. So I have no idea what that was, but... Oh, and then another thing about this being real. I know this is kind of a long video, but when I first saw the light, it was moonless. Like, there was no light coming in through my bedroom window. If there had been, I would have been able to see my face in the mirror, because I, like, the way it was set up, I had, like, my bed here, and then, like, across from the bed, where if I was sitting up, I could see myself, was my dresser and my mirror. So, I couldn't see myself because there was no lights coming in from the window. But this light that was, like, hanging in, probably, like, near the foot of my bed, in between me and my mirror, I, like, glanced into the mirror and I saw my face. Like, I could see my face. And it was, like, illuminating the room. Not like a light does, where it, like, illuminates, like, the whole room and it, like, just the corners are dark. It was, like, kind of like a candle where it kind of, like, illuminates and then, like, fuzzes out, I guess you could say. But yeah, so I just wanted to make a video and, like, preface the other one. I was gonna make the part 2 the part 1 and then make this the story afterwards, after I'd, like, talked about all of what the Catholic Church says and stuff. But I just thought I would start with this because I think it needs to be talked about. So please like, subscribe, follow me on Tumblr, send me questions about videos that you want me to do in the future, and follow me on Twitter. Everything is in the description below. Thanks, guys!